Hi, Darren Mangum here, securities lawyer with the law firm of Mangum and Associates. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Wanted to get on here and talk about EB5. It's been a number of years, it's probably been a couple of years since I've talked about EB5. EB5 being the immigrant and visa program administered by USCIS. Allowing people to to get a green card and open up a possible path to eventual U.S. citizenship through investment. EB5 has been subject to a number of changes over the years, different investment amounts, minimum investment amounts, different requirements. Something is interesting in the news that I think USCIS is, they're cracking down on a lot of regional centers that are not operational, or they're not. They recently set up a what they call an EB5 integrity fund in order to promote full and fair disclosure and integrity in the EB5 amongst EB5 regional centers, right? And if you're not familiar with EB5, how it's set up, just really quickly, the new business enterprise that the immigrant investor is investing into is required to show that it's creating jobs, right? Creating jobs in the United States as a result of the investment, right? Now, they can typically go one of two ways. One is what they call direct job creation, which is the business enterprise is creating at least 10 jobs, 10 U.S. jobs. When I say U.S. jobs, I mean like full-time, at least 35 or more hours per week, those kind of jobs in the United States for each investor that invests into the enterprise. Okay, they have to show that many jobs, which for a few or for a handful of investors that may be pretty easy to do. If you're talking about 100 investors into a project and I need to show 10 jobs per investor, that's like over 100 jobs, right? And in some cases, in some business aspects, that's very doable, right? High job creating projects. Other projects like real estate, for example, it may create some temporary jobs because of the construction and all that, but it doesn't really create a lot of full-time jobs, okay? And so what they've done is they've created, you can create jobs, direct jobs, or you can create what they call indirect jobs. Indirect jobs meaning that maybe these jobs aren't necessarily direct hires by the new business enterprise, right, or the project, but the investment into the local community is such that it has a job creating effect in the local economy, right? Like let's say a hotel goes up, and it may only employ a certain number of people. It may only create a certain limited number of jobs, but the fact that the hotel is there now it helps the local economy. Maybe the local coffee shop has to hire some more people. The other vendors, other people around the hotel, suppliers, cleaning services, all that, they have to create jobs, and so they have what they call indirect job creation. Okay. And that's usually done through an economic impact study, and that's required in the case where you're doing, you're investing, your project is sponsored by a regional center. And not to get too far in the weeds on this, but that's if you're doing indirect job creation, you have to be sponsored by a local regional center, right? A regional center being a kind of a conduit in order to facilitate the job creation within a geographic boundary, right? And there's been hundreds of regional centers set up across the country to accommodate projects to help facilitate this program. And what's happened is USCIS has looked at, hey, there's been a number of these regional centers who have been inactive, or they're not contributing to this new integrity fund, and so they issued this news article talks about the USCIS issues notices of intent to terminate over 100 regional centers, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, if you lose your regional center status, right, then okay, now you can't help sponsor a job creation program. And if you did have a project company that is that you're working with in conjunction with the USCIS's the EB5 program, then now you're, if you lose that status, now the project is in jeopardy, right? So it's kind of a big deal. It's like, you either pay up or we're gonna terminate you, right? So again, EB5 continues to be used. It's been really dominated, at least before the pandemic. It was dominated by a lot of Chinese immigration, a lot of Chinese investors. But since then, it's really picked up steam in countries like India and other countries, and so if you're looking for large investors, again, the investment is quite large. I mean, if they're doing direct job creation, then it's over $1.8 million investment. If you're working with one of these regional centers, then you can get away with asking for only half of that, around $900,000. But it also has to be within that regional center's geographic area, right? Their economic development area, right? So anyway, lots of moving parts with EB5, but EB5 is a viable potential market that if you had a project that you're trying to attract foreign investment in, EB5, and if it's a project that does create a lot of jobs, whether direct jobs or indirect jobs, EB5, you may want to take a hard look at using EB5 to help raise the capital. It's just another arrow in your quiver, right, to attract those sorts of investors. Those kind of investors are more interested in getting the visa. I mean, obviously they want to get a decent return, but they also are more so motivated by getting the visa, possible future citizenship. That's really their motivation in investing, right? So anyway, just another thing to think about. EB5, if you have a project you want to talk about EB5, we certainly glad to chat with you about the pros and the cons of that. And then obviously we do everything on a flat fee basis, so that way there's no surprises. And even if you have an existing PPM that you're raising capital with, you could certainly add EB5 onto that in order to accommodate those kinds of investors, right? Anyway, so yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. If you know of anybody doing EB5, feel free to share this video with them. Again, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, all of that, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.